In university, when you meet someone for the first time, the question they always ask you when you guys are like leaving is they'll ask you, hey, so what's your Instagram? Like they'll assume that you have Instagram. These days it's weird to be like around my age and to not have an Instagram. But here's what I realized recently. Instagram is like, it feels like like social media feels like it's connecting us with everyone, right? It feels like it's giving us this huge network of friends, you know, we're all connected. But what I realized recently is it's an illusion. We're not really as connected as we think. So about 3 months ago, I went 1 month without Instagram. I had so many realizations, and now I use it so much less. But I had so many insights about how social media was actually making us more lonely, making us feel like we had friends, and also destroying our mental health. So I'll share with you in this video some insights I had. So the first thing is, you know, you probably have like a couple hundred followers, I don't know. If you are honest with yourself, you don't care about 95% of these people. You know, you'll tell yourself like, oh yeah, bro, like social media is good because I can keep in contact with all these people in my life, you know. It makes it easy to know what people are doing. It makes it easy to keep in contact with these people. If you deleted Instagram right now, 95% of these people would never come to your mind ever again. A couple months ago, I was like scrolling through Instagram and I saw the post of a guy who basically didn't post on Instagram for like 4 years. And I saw his post and I'm like, oh damn, I forgot this guy existed. So the fact is, I was following him, but he never came to my mind until he posted. So the only reason you feel like you're connected with all these people is because you're getting a reminder every day that they exist. And bro, if you have to literally be reminded of someone's existence, that means you don't care about them. Every day I could come up to you and I could be like, hey, this is a guy in Africa who lives in the Congo. And the next day I come up to you and I'm like, hey, this is a guy in Africa who lives in the Congo. So yeah, you're thinking about this guy, this random guy in Africa every day. But that doesn't mean you care about him just because you're being reminded of his existence every day. If you deleted Instagram, you would forget about 95% of these people. But it makes us feel connected. It's like, oh, but what if I want to, you know, meet up with these guys again someday in the future? But bro, does this ever happen? Do you actually make any friends through Instagram? Now maybe you do. Like, to be honest, I think maybe like 2 people a year, I'll see something they post on Instagram and I'll get in contact with them. So you might think like, oh yeah, bro, like Instagram is giving me friends because I can come in contact with people who I haven't talked to in a long time. If you're honest with yourself, you might only make, you know, a couple friends a year through Instagram, right? A couple friends a year for like 500 hours on these apps, is that a worthwhile conversion? 5 friends for 500 hours on these apps? With 500 hours, you could go out and make like 100 friends. So sure, Instagram is giving you friends. It's giving you friends that you otherwise wouldn't have met. But so is getting off Instagram and using that time to go out into the real world and actually make friends. So just because it has a benefit doesn't mean it's a big benefit. Like, okay, if you're making like hundreds of friends through Instagram, fair enough. You know, that's a good tool for you. But the majority of people are only making like a couple new friendships because of Instagram a year. Bro, if you truly cared about someone, you would have their number. But you might think like, oh, but bro, like, there are some people I care about, and being on Instagram allows me to like see what they're creating, see what they're doing with their life. You know, it can keep me I can follow the lives of the people I truly do care about. And okay, yeah, maybe you do care about these people. But what you're seeing on Instagram is not the real them. What people post on social media is like 1% of their life. It's the 1% of their life that they think is good enough to share with the world. If you truly cared about someone and you truly wanted to get to know them, you wouldn't just look at this 1%. You would get to know the whole them. So you're actually not understanding someone's life by following them on Instagram. You're just seeing their peaks. But most people, their lives go like this. It's like up and down and up and down. So you need to see the whole picture. And you might feel like all these people care about you. It's like, oh bro, like I post a picture, you know, it gets like 100 likes. It gets like 200 likes. People like it. So people like your post not because they care about you, but they like your post because it's kind of, I don't know how to explain this. People like your post because they know you're going to like their post. People love the validation they get from their post getting a ton of likes, but you're not actually providing value to people. Like, you post a photo of yourself like sitting there, right? And 100 people like it, but you're not actually giving them any value. The only reason they're liking your photo is because they know you're going to like their photo in the future. So I thought about this, right? And this is how I see social media. This is kind of what it's like. It's like you and all the people you've ever met in your life are sitting in a room in like one big circle. And people are going around sharing a photo of themselves. And everyone's going like, hey, that's really cool. And then it's another guy showing a photo of himself. And everyone's like, hey, that's really cool. It's like one big circle jerk. People are sharing photos of themselves and everyone's giving them validation. So what Instagram really is it's just people giving validation to each other. It's not true care. It's just validation, fake care. Because bro, if you were truly providing value to the world, you would have much more than just 500 followers. Or like, you've probably got an equal number of followers and people who are following you, right? Or pretty close. It's because people only follow you because you follow them. Bro, if Instagram is your business or something and you're like providing value to the world, fair enough, you know. But then you would have like many more followers. Like the guys on Instagram who have millions of followers, that's because they're actually providing real value to the world. But how most people use social media, they're not really providing value. The value they provide is by following someone else. So it's a circle jerk. It's like, you validate me, I validate you. It's not real. It's like, it makes you feel like you have friends, but it's an illusion. It's not real. And here's the thing. Instagram gives you a lot of FOMO. Like, I used to hate Friday and Saturday nights because I would be sitting at home alone, scrolling on Instagram and seeing all the fun stuff people were doing. And I'd be like, oh man, I wish I was at this party. I wish I was with these guys. But if you didn't go on Instagram that night, you wouldn't feel that FOMO. Because here's the thing, you don't actually want to go to those parties. You just feel lonely. But Instagram is showing you all the things that you could have. I thought of it like this, right? You know how when you practice gratitude, you kind of like sit down and you think of all the things you're grateful for, right? You're like, oh, I'm grateful for dinner. I'm grateful that I have this chair, etc., etc. Social media is like anti-gratitude. You're like, oh man, I don't have this party right now. Oh man, I don't have this cool trip to Greece right now. Oh man, I don't have this 10 out of 10 physique right now. When you scroll on Instagram, you're seeing all the shit that you don't have. And chances are you don't want this stuff. It's just implanting desires into your head. Like the other day I saw like a bunch of guys clubbing on Instagram. And I was like, oh man, I wish I was there at that club right now. And then I stopped for a second. I'm like, wait a minute. I don't even like clubbing. I don't want to be there. It just seemed cool at the time because I was looking at it on Instagram. You know, you don't actually want to go to the event. You feel like you do, but it's this fake desire that's being implanted into your head. Because if FOMO was real, if you really wanted to go to that event, then you would have FOMO for the millions of parties that have happened throughout human history. Like, do you think like, oh man, I can't believe I missed out on that party in 1940 in Texas? No, you don't think that, right? It's because you only experience FOMO when you look at something that you're missing out on. Rather than going inside your mind and going, okay, what do I truly want from life? You're just looking at what everyone else has and you're like, oh man, I don't have that. I don't have that. That guy has a cool life. These are the reasons why Instagram is social media. It's meant to be connecting us all, but it's actually making us more lonely. So how do we actually approach? Well, first of all, you got to ask yourself, which of the people on your social media do you actually care about? And those people, you need to reach out to them. And you have to be like, hey, can I have your number? And you have to focus your energy on the people you actually care about. Because right now you're spreading your energy thin to like hundreds of different people. Instead of doing that, focus your energy on the few people that you actually care about. So I'm not saying like, oh, delete your social medias, never go on them again. But I think the goal is just to use them a lot more consciously and, you know, realize what they're doing to us. And that actually, we're not missing out on much by deleting our social medias. When I went 1 month without using Instagram, I realized I wasn't missing out on much. For a couple days, I was like, oh man, what are people posting? I'm missing out on all the action. But then after a week, I stopped thinking about it. And I just focused on my life and focused on the stuff that I actually cared about. So let me know if you agree with this message or not. If you resonate with this message, subscribe, bro. See you later.